to be honest, I don't think none of the women that has been into Rashid is really on Rashid's level. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. Welcome to Rated G TV. My name is Glennis, and you guys always know you can call me G. Guys, we're back ready to review another episode of Ready to Love Season 3, Episode 9, entitled Second Choices, Second Chances. Now, again, not too much drama this episode, but still some interesting things, and it looks like people are pretty much just putting out there who their number one choice is. So let's go ahead and get in the episode. The show looks like it opens up right where the last episode ended, with Brian and Simone going home. It shows Winter and Jay. Looks like they walked outside to talk at the pool. She does ask Jay at this point again about who he would choose right now. Nephew Tommy put to the women and to the men who would their number one choice be today if they had to leave with someone. He does say to Winter, to her face, that it would be Joy. Winter, does make a face. I don't know if it's just editing or whatever. He did ask her, what did she say when Nephew Tommy asked? She told him that she chose him, and he had this look of, oh. However, that was that. Looks like it is the next day in the morning. Nephew Tommy is talking to the guys, telling them that one woman must go home. He tells them to take their second choices out on a date this week and be vulnerable. Get to know them better and determine if they should get more of their attention. It does go to the next scene that Joy and Jay are talking. Pretty much tells her that Tommy's assignment, and that Tommy basically is saying he is going to spend time with Winter. So he's pretty much being nice and telling Joy because he really likes her the most, and just letting her know up front that, hey, if you don't see much of me this week, it's because I'm on assignment to spend more time with Winter. She does make a joke and say that she knows. He's always, taking walks with someone else, but of course she's not bothered by this. We see Rashid and Alex. Rashid and Alex are sitting on the couch. He says to her that he wants to spend more time with Alex. And since both of their other love interests are gone, so Simone is gone and Brian is gone, that it leaves them to focus on each other. It's not really too much there, but kind of setting up the rest of the episode. However, when they were sitting there talking, I did notice that Adriana was sitting at like this bar table watching Rashid talk to Alex. I did see her face expression. Looks like she was kind of bothered by it, and I thought it was funny with the sound effects and the cut into her looking. Thinking not strange, I thought it was funny as well that when it shot the camera over to her, it showed where she was sitting down from Calfunny and Denise. Of course, Calfunny and Denise are talking, and he does ask her out on a date, which she seems to be thrilled about. He does pretty much say in his confessional he wants to see they can rebuild their connection that he has. Because you remember, guys, he has been turned off from what he says is Denise being jealous and insecure. Now, one thing I can say that even though Adriana is sitting there, you can tell that she's throwing off this vibe. I could be wrong, you guys tell me. Vibe that she's throwing off like, oh, woe is me, I'm by myself at the table. But one thing I can say about Calfunny is that even though he might be interested in someone else, whoever he is talking to, he is giving them his undivided attention. The next scenes are intertwined with Alex and Rashid's date, as well as Calfunny and Denise's date. So what I'm going to do is just talk about one person's date and then talk about the next person's date. Calfunny and Denise have a date. Looks like he is coming to give her a massage. He wants to connect with Denise in an intimate level. He does say intimacy, or showing intimacy is a part of showing how you connect with someone. To him, it's like his action without saying certain words. I did see an interview that he did. He was talking about Denise, and they asked him about did he ever say anything would lead her to believe that he loved her or something like that. He said he didn't say anything like that, or he didn't. I noticed he caught himself. However, he did say that his actions could have shown something like that. As they go into their massage, Denise, let's just give a shout out to Denise's body. I was telling my daughter, do you see her back? her back is great. You know what I'm saying? My daughter said that when she saw Denise laying on the table, she immediately started doing sit-ups. And I thought that was so funny. But of course, she is a track coach, and most likely she works out all the time. Cal Funny does say he's enjoying his time with Denise. But of course, they got to get to the serious things with the questions that nephew Tommy has. Cal Funny does ask Denise, when was the last time she was really vulnerable? She does say in 2001, so about 19 years ago, which makes sense why she's so intrigued, got these emotions when it comes to Cal Funny, because they've connected on a spiritual, deeper connection. You know what I'm saying? I can only go by what they show the viewers. If the last time she has opened herself up to anybody was 19 years ago, it would make sense why there are certain behaviors. Her question to Cal Funny is that what is that he looks for in a woman figure for his daughter's life. Cal Funny says he does want someone to understand him personally and trust him and is motherly to his daughter. He does get into the fact that the mother of his child has not been around their daughter since she was 1 year old and she is now 12. That's so sad, guys. That's just so sad, but evidently he's been a great father. I don't know if they cut a question out that Denise asked, but immediately he goes into what he fears. He does say that he fears Denise won't be able to control her jealousy behind what he does in his career. And she was like, any woman? He said no. When he says that, if you guys look at Denise's face, her face is, she can hold her face, but the eyes are a gateway to the soul, or really what people are saying or are thinking. If you look in her eyes, she's really hurt by what he says. I see that she does listen to him. Anyway, she goes on to say she understands, and sometimes she can't help how she feels, or she can't help certain things coming out. We can. Gotta learn how to control and master our emotions, okay? She does listen to him, and then she does, make a joke or try to lighten the situation. It's like, I will, of course, continue to work on it because I want to keep getting my massages. Now, I was watching this with my brother. This particular scene, he said, why did she just brush past the whole situation? Did she even listen to what he was saying? And I told him this. She heard everything that he was saying, and yes, she brushed past it. The reason why she brushed past it, she looked like she was about to cry. And in that moment, it's like, I'm not going to show my vulnerability at this point because of what you said, because she was really hurt by that. So, guys, if it looks like, to me, from what I was shown, it looks like if she kind of brushed past it or sped past it or made her joke as if she really didn't receive and listen to what he said, she did. She was just trying to get out of that moment so those emotions won't come out, so she won't cry or react to it. So she was just kind of brush past it. But I was hurt for her too. I understand how she feels. The fact that you're sitting up here asking a man what he looks for in a woman and what he wants around his daughter, and then he turns around and says what he fears about you. That hurts. That hurts. It's a learning lesson, but it hurts. They do show Alex and Rashid on a date. Looks like they're having fun too. Alex talks about previous relationships where she has sabotaged the relationship by constantly admonishing the guy. So basically trying to control him or to do things the way he wants them done. She does ask Rashid about a time he's felt vulnerable. He opens up about his wife, his ex-wife, in the relationship that they had, and that he was not really being vulnerable or not being open and honest to her. He does say that he felt like because she had her own business, she was an entrepreneur, and then when they had their son together, that he felt like he wasn't really needed in the relationship. It made him act out in the relationship the way he did. So he does, talk about that and says pretty much if he had communicated more, probably wouldn't have acted out. He has received therapy and he has kind of worked it out. Alex does open up about her domestic violence relationship that she had many years ago. And I see that he does show more empathy to her than Brian did. And I do believe at this point when she opens up about that situation, it is a test, pretty much a test to see what kind of guy she's dealing with, and if I'm going to waste my time. So how Brian kind of brushed it off and made a joke in the situation, but Rasheed was empathetic about it, you know? So basically it let her know, okay, I can open up and be more vulnerable with him. The next part of the show, it does go to Joy and Edwin. They're out on a date. Joy is thinking about Jay, of course. She does say he has competition with Edwin because Edwin seems to be more attentive to her. They talk about in her divorce or what's helped her through it. There was a question that was posed and Edwin says that he is scared to ask, you know, for help or support in a relationship, and that's because he's taking care of his siblings and he's always been the one to do that. Maybe he feels like it's a weak thing to ask for support when people always see you as the stronger person. He does say his biggest fear with Joy, but with all the emotional issues that he has, that he's going on with his PTSD and time in the police force, all the things that he's done, he fears that she doesn't understand and won't, you know, kind of accept that. She does say in her confessional that she thinks Edwin is a great guy, but she does say she doesn't think he's ready to love at this moment. The next portion does go to Winter and Jay's date. They look like they're having a night sitting on the grass looking into the stars. Winter does ask on her card about serious relationships impressions that he gives. Basically, what is it that Jay does that causes women to think it is more serious in the relationship than it really is? He really can't think of anything, so he pretty much says, I think it's because I'm just being myself. And I know a couple people like that says it's just them being themselves and that people just automatically think that they have a shot. He just be looking for friendships in women. Sometimes we women might think, oh gosh, he's building up the friendship, you know, with us, which means that's going to turn into something else because we hang out all the time. So maybe it's more serious, and that's not what he's saying. He's just saying he's being himself and he just a cool guy. Jay asks Winter, does she always go for emotional, unavailable men? She says she is a fixer-upper, so she likes to help men, you know, deal with themselves until I guess eventually it doesn't work out and she goes about her business. I think he kind of talks around some things in her confessional. She says on the scale of 1 to 10 is how vulnerable is Jay being, and she does say a 4. She does ask Jay, why haven't they kissed? And so he pretty much says to her, I'm gonna give you what you've been looking for. And guess what? He kisses her on the cheek. But I understand Jay, I think at this point, because he has kissed Joy and he's already said his number one is Joy, he doesn't want to disrespect Winter or Joy at this point. It is the next day and we see Rasheed and Adriana does sit her down and they have like a drink, and he gives her a journal for her to write her songs in. I guess she's a singer. I don't know. I haven't heard anything, but I guess she's a singer, and so she writes. He goes in for a kiss, and of course, they kiss each other, and he was like, I guess he's trying to get a follow-up, and she was like, that's enough. He tells her that she is his priority. She says she is up in the air when it comes to him and Cal Funny. I believe at this point, she doesn't know if she really want to be serious, or she might be looking for something to drop or somebody to show their true side, and it's not really what it is. But I think she's really not ready. To be honest, I don't think none of the women that has been into Rasheed is really on Rasheed's level, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. The work he's done with him in himself, the openness that he is, and the type of guy he is, even the dates and even the things of putting Adriana first and making sure he hears Alex. I don't think that none of the women are really at that level. I do feel like if Denise and Rasheed, and I've been saying this since the beginning, if that initial interaction had never happened in an awkward way, I really think they were more meant for each other. We have our soulmates, right, guys? There is the auntie that will always come before the real person. And I know Denise does talk about Rasheed maybe looks like or similar to, reminds her to her ex that she had a bad relationship with. And like I said, sometimes that auntie comes before the real one. Could have been similar to Rasheed, may have came in to kind of sabotage her from even looking at the one she was supposed to be with. Hence the reason why she was automatically turned off the first time she was introduced or connected or spoke to Rasheed. The next scene is Anthony and Winter's Day play a game of badminton. The bet is if whoever wins gets a kiss. So Winter's gonna kiss Anthony either way. Anyway, of course, they kiss. He does talk to her and tells her he has never been in love before. He does say that it's because football has always been his priority and he has always kept that in the forefront. I've been like that when I'm just focused on my career and my kids and I just don't want to be bothered. So you just put your mindset in, like, I just don't want to be bothered at this point. I want to focus on this. However, Winter does say in her confessional, she could be that turning point for Anthony if he does give her his heart. They kiss a couple more times, but it just, in that scene, it just looks like they had told him, all right, I need you to kiss Winter one more time. When she bats her eyes and he was moving in close, just waiting for that cue, and I'm gonna kiss. It just seemed awkward. I really don't think there's a true connection there. The next scene is a little bit emotional scene. It is with Edwin and Joy. They do talk on the couch and she does ask Edwin, where do they stand? He starts off by saying first he does appreciate her and her encouragement, and even if she chooses someone else, he wants what's best for her, even if it's not him. And I think at this point, Edwin already knows that Joy is really into Jay. Now, they get a little emotional. At this point, they both know their relationship is not going to go in that way. You know what I'm saying? They tear up and become very emotional, which that's something Edwin needs to do. It's not bad to cry, guys. It's okay. It helps release. You know, Edwin has always been a stand-up guy, and so has Joy, despite all the hate that I see that she gets. And that's another video to break down on why people just don't like Joy. You know, sometimes people have an inner jealousy, and that everything she might do, they find a way to hate on it because there's just something that they admire in her that they don't want to admit to. Anyway, I don't want to get into that, but I do respect their grown conversation. We're getting towards the end, guys. So the men meet with Tommy. The men recap their dates. Edwin discusses his date with Joy. Rashid discusses him and Alex. Kalfani talks about him and Denise. He says their date was intimate. You know, everybody was like, woo, or whatever. Tommy does ask Kalfani if he saw the jealousy thing. Does say no. That he hasn't seen it since he addressed it with her the first time. But in the back of his mind, he just always fears that that's going to happen. Tommy says, interesting. Even though Kalfani may feel like he has a deeper connection with Denise, he's looking for a reason to not have the connection. That's what I feel. I think he's just looking for a reason. You know, sometimes you can manifest that thing in your mind. Back in your mind, you're just always like, no, I think that's gonna come out. You'll end up manifesting that thing, even if they worked it out. Jay does talk about his date with Winter. He tells him that Winter gave him the green light for a kiss, but he didn't kiss her out of respect for Joy. Anthony does talk to them about his date with Winter, and he says he kissed Winter and that they had a good time. Tommy does go around the guys and ask them if they had to choose someone they would leave with today, who would it be? Edwin says Joy. Jay says Joy. Rashid says Adriana, which I think at this point he likes her more than she likes him. She'll just pick someone else at this point. I just don't see it there. I don't think it's a true connection. Of course, they asked Kalfani. Kalfani does still say Adriana is his top. They asked Anthony. Anthony says Winter and Denise, but he does eventually say Winter. He says Winter by a little bit, only because they recently had a date. The next section is Elimination. We do see Anthony talk to Denise and tells her about the date with Winter. He does say that they kiss. She makes a face, but I don't think she's really upset really about it. He asks her between him and Kalfani which one would she choose. So they both start drinking their glasses of wine. She doesn't say Kalfani is her number one, but she pretty much says it when she says her and Kalfani have a deeper connection. Eventually, Anthony does tell Denise that he wants her to stay, so Denise is staying. I did think Denise probably was going home. Ever since the women started being eliminated and been put in the bottom, she's been the ones in the bottom every time. They both agreed to work on their vulnerability with each other. I think that's a good thing because she needs at this point just pick Anthony and go about her business. Kalfani does sit down with Alec. He basically tells her that he found her attractive and he wanted to connect with her because because she connected with Brian early off and just kind of stayed with Brian for a while, he never even approached her. He just left it alone. It's just like Brian's connection with her kind of deterred all the men. Unfortunately, that did put her in the bottom with the men, and he did tell her that she was not ready to love. So Alex was sent home. She does say in her confessional that she doesn't feel like it is the end for love for her. But I think she's learned a lot of lessons. I don't know if they watched the other 2 seasons of Ready to Love here in Atlanta. But if they've watched those, they should have learned to explore your options and not put all of your eggs in one basket. They need to take this like as the real world. If they've been out in the real world, even though you might be in a place where you're ready to get married, you know, you're in a dating season. Right now, you're dating to see which one you're ready or who you're feeling with most. My aunt has always told me, and I've always thought about this, you know, give yourself at least 2 to date with so you can see what you really, really want and what you're open to. So she learned some things. All right, guys, that is it. Like I said, not a real lot of drama, just some people making their lasting decision. Next week, guys, looks like it's going to be a whole week before Ready to Love comes back out. So you might not get a video from me with Ready to Love, but stay tuned to my channel because there are other reviews of another show that I am going to do. However, guys, thank you again for joining me. I ask that you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of new videos to come. See you soon.